What a statement. Malachi said to the people there who had returned from the captivity in Babylon, and they were reestablishing their lives, and they were starting businesses, and they were raising families, and all the things that's involved in just sustaining life. And Malachi is proclaiming this message to them. And he's talking to them about the restoration of the Mosaic laws and the principles that are involved in temple worship and all of these things. And he's told them, he says, you're not consumed. You're not consumed about these things. You're not passionate about these things that has to do with God. And then he said these words. And he says, God says, return to me, and I will return to you. Now, if you've taken any time to read the pages of the Old Testament, you'll find that this is absolutely true. I've been reading recently in 2 Kings, and when you read through 2 Kings, man, you have to really pay attention, because the kings, they change in succession, and it's given you the list of not only the kings of Judah, but the kings of Israel, and some of them are the same names. But here's the thing that you notice, that when a king would rise up and take power, if he led the people to God, and it would literally be listed this way: he followed after the sins of Rehoboam or Jeroboam or Ahab or one of those, and he returned not to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you read this, and it would just sadden your heart, because you would see that they'd come to the place where they're having to literally strip the gold off the doors of the temple to send it off to some foreign king that was about to besiege and ransack their city. That they didn't have the power to raise an army, because they had not the power to call unto the true and the living God. And so you find the principles. And this is what Malachi is saying to this generation in which he lived. He says, you're not consumed. You're just not in touch with the Spirit and the presence of God. But if you return to God, then God will return to you. See, this is a part of the principles that I teach so often about spiritual awakening. Malachi is really preaching an evangelistic sermon here, saying, look, we need revival fire to return to our land, so that people will become consumed with their desire for an encounter with the true and the living God and the presence of the Holy Spirit. And when that happens, throughout history, we have recorded how things just change. People change. Circumstances change. It's just such a tremendous truth. But yet, when people's hearts grow cold and calloused, only the Spirit of God is going to change them. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.